Hi guys, welcome back to another video of CDB, and today we're doing something a little different, but sort of different. We're doing like pretty much we're doing a POV drive, but instead of me rambling the whole time, I'm going to be going through my, I suppose, tips, but also a foolproof plan on how you can drive your slow car fast. The key word is faster, not fast. So bear that in mind. Okay, so while we get to the spot I want to film in, let's go through a few, I don't know, tips, put a few pointers. Let's start with my car. So what have we got? We have got a Vauxhall Corsa 1.4 litre naturally aspirated inline 4 beast, okay? I feel like always saying naturally aspirated always makes it sound so much cooler. Do you know what I mean? Like when you hear about a Lambo being naturally aspirated, you're like, whoa. But no, it's just a 1.4 litre Corsa. So if you're unfamiliar, naturally aspirated means no turbo. Just if you're unfamiliar. And so yeah. So this car is pushing 75 horsepower and about 100 Newton meters of torque. I'm not entirely sure how much torque it's pushing, but it's yeah, it's about 100, I think. I feel like I'm educated in this subject on how to drive a slow car at least, but you guys be the judge on how to drive a slow car fast. But yeah, then just before we still get into the spot, so I'm still rambling, and I would be sending it down here and showing you guys, but of course there's a truck in front of us. Yeah, so I'm no means an expert. I have absolutely zero experience on a track, or I only have 1 year's driving experience. So I'm sure some of you guys in the comments, some of you experts, are gonna be maybe offended by what I say, but I don't know all the terminology and stuff, probably. I think that's a good thing as well, because I'm just trying to keep it relatively easy to understand for you guys. I'm actually going to cut down here. I've never been down here before, but we're going to avoid that. I'm going to send it down here. I've never once been down here before, so this could have been a dodgy move, but let's see. Yeah, I'd say this was a dodgy move because I have no idea where I'm going, but you know, give way. Oh, lovely. If we've ended up, if I've shortcutted what we wanted to do here, then I'm a fucking genius. I believe I have. So, I mean, look, it might not look very fast on camera. I'm gonna hold the steering with 2 hands here. I'm not a certy driver. It might not look very fast on camera, but, and I'm also, it's really hard. Sorry, I've just noticed how hard it is to talk and try and drive like this. I'll try my best, but it's hard on camera to notice how it feels. But it does feel relatively fast because this is a 1,000 kilogram car. It's not a lot, but basically I'm gonna just run through my tips now. So first off, before you go on these drives, you got to make sure you warm up your car. I sat on the driveway for about 10 minutes before I did this. Another thing, if you want the most fun out of this, you gotta know how to rev match like that. I've made a video on this, so after you watch this video, click up on the top right and it will be a card at the end of the video on my video on this, and I think I did a good job explaining. So another thing, don't be scared to brake, because these cars don't be scared to brake hard. These cars are built for city driving. If you're in a similar car to me, or if you've just got low horsepower, the brakes aren't gonna be very big. So you're gonna have to put a lot of pressure on these brakes when you're coming into a corner. So I recommend coming in hard. How am I putting this without it sounding weird? Coming in hard. No, I recommend like entering the corner, braking always before the corner. Never, fuck, I can't speak right now, guys, because you know what, I hate having a camera on my head and trying to talk while driving. Just too many things at once. So I'm gonna keep it relatively calm while we're driving here, just so I can explain myself. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna do a U-turn, and we're gonna go through the same road. I've never actually been the opposite way, but that road is the best road. We didn't around me, and I didn't really do the best, but I'm gonna try and explain myself. I'm going to try and explain myself now so I don't have to later. So, you got to learn how to rev match. What rev matching is, simply, if you don't want to watch the video, although I highly recommend it because I'm going to explain it a whole lot better. It basically is when changing gears without losing speed. That's the best way I could put it. And what's the point in changing gears? Changing to a lower gear, I should say, without losing speed. What's the point in that? It keeps your revs higher, and with your revs higher you get more power. That's just how a car works. It's how most, at least I'm sure all engines, but I'm going to say most just so I don't get shouted at in comments. It's how most engines work. The higher the revs you are, the more pull you'll have. So I mean, I suppose if you've got an automatic car, you can skip that. You can skip that little lesson, but a manual car you must learn how to rev match. Second thing, if you are in an auto, get out of automatic mode. If you've got paddles, if you've got those little flippy flappy paddles, you need to get using them. Don't keep it in automatic mode. Why do we not put it in manual? Two reasons. One, if you're in automatic mode and you don't have a sports mode, for example, it's not going to keep the revs high for you. And what does that mean? It means that you're not going to have as much enjoyment. And yeah, I'm going to go down here. So you're not going to have as much enjoyment. Another reason is because changing gears is probably the most fun thing. Because you're not getting a whole lot of power, you're not going, every time you put your foot down, you're not going like this. Do you know what I mean? So changing gears is the best way you're going to be able to get enjoyment. Relatively best way, especially changing down gears. Let's mind that bird, don't want to run him over. Last thing I want to do is kill an animal while I'm driving. That's a very confusing. I just saw a national speed limit of 30. Here we go, I'm going to drop a gear here, I'm going to drop to third, I'm even going to drop to second just to show you what I'm talking about. There you go, and I'm going to send it. I'm going to slow down this corner as well, always making sure you slow down. Never want to just overcommit, especially if you're new, because the last thing we want to do is die. Like this corner here, I'm slowing down because I have no way of seeing round the corner. You know what I mean? It sounds self-explanatory, it sounds easy to know, but I had no way of seeing around that corner. I still can't really see. I can see now, so I'm going to do this. It's always okay to go in the middle of the road, especially if it's to save your car from understeering. If you're in a front wheel drive car, it's going to be your worst enemy. So that's not what you want. And that's another reason to not brake while you're cornering. So you always brake before. And if you accelerate out of corner, that's even better. So right now I'm braking. I've got off the brakes now. That was a bit, I broke a bit too long because I was trying to explain. And I'm braking now because I never been on the opposite side of this road, so I don't want to go into anything. Another thing as well is halfway through the corner, if you're in a front wheel drive car, never lift off the throttle. If you're going at a reasonable, if you're lifting off the throttle because you think you're going too fast. Now, why is this? I'm no expert, so please, someone in the comment section tell me, because last thing I want is someone to die. From my understanding, or someone to crash. From my understanding, is the reason why you don't lift off is because the weight gets transferred from the front of the car to the rear of the car very quickly, and that will lead to you going straight instead of where your wheels are turned. So bear that in mind when you're going through these corners. And the only way I put it is your final result is letting off the throttle like that. I would just never do it. So always set yourself up where you can accelerate through the corner like this. I mean, I was in fourth there, so it was a bit of a dodgy showing, but okay, so let me break it down. So my first tip was make sure your car's warmed up. That's a given before you want to drive it hard, or before you drive it anyway. Just make sure it's warmed up. To sit on the driveway 5-10 minutes, depending on how long the journey is going to be to get to your road. Second thing that I haven't actually said is find a good road to go on, and almost even learn the road. So go on there a few times. I found this road like a year ago, and I've been on it so many times this way. I'm not really the other way, like I've explained. But yeah, I've been on it so many times. It's a lot of fun. Right, I'm going to drop to third here. Rev matching. You got to know how to rev match, because you can't do stuff like this instantly getting that power band. You see there, and then the next thing I said was don't brake on corners. And if you can see that, I was a little bit of a hypocrite. Why did I do it? I don't think I was going fast enough to cause the understeer. And second off is because a car appeared out of nowhere. So I had to. There's another thing as well. Most of my rules only apply if the other side of the road's clear. That drop in second there, that felt good. It felt fast. And just because you're not in a fast car doesn't mean you can't drive fast. See what I'm doing here? Look, I'm sending it. Now I'm slowing down here because there could be a car come around this corner. I don't want to die. I don't want to crash. I don't want the other person to die or crash either. So in the straights, you can have as much fun as you want, but when you get to a corner like this, there's no point in sending it, especially if you're watching a video on how to drive fast. Because like, I've dropped to third at 50 miles an hour. You can do that without the car going mental. It worked, it was fine. I'm going to slow down here because there's a car on the opposite side of the road, and this road was a little bit bumpy, so I wanted the most control I could get without, you know, going 30 miles an hour. Not going to send it around this corner because I can't see round. I've got a car behind me, he wants to race. That's illegal, so I'm not going to race him. And so, what did I say? I said, warm up your car. I'm going to repeat myself. I said, warm up your car, find a good road, and then I said, don't brake through corners, brake before them, and I suppose after them, doesn't really matter because you should end up on a straight. Accelerate through the corners like this, because you won't have an issue with we won't understeer if you accelerate through the corners. That's see, I'm not 100% sure, so as I said, please someone correct me in the comment section if I've just straight up lied, because the last thing I want is for someone to crash because of my advice. And I said that rev matching as well, but I think the most important thing is, right, and I'm going to say this now, fuck me, he was close, and I've just hit a lovely pile. I think the most important thing that you can take away from this video is you're in a slow car. Now, you might realise that going 80 miles an hour, which is illegal, so I'm not advocating that, but down a short, narrow road is a lot of fun. You could think it's a lot of fun. However, that doesn't mean you should do it. You're in a car that isn't made for this. Yes, they can do it, most of them. They can do it and you can still have a lot of fun, but it is by no means made to do this thing, and that is okay. Doesn't mean you can't, but it just means it's not made for it, and you've just got to make sure. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see absolutely every single one of you in the next video. Goodbye guys.